All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Farzad here with Visme. Happy Tuesday, everybody. And thank you so much for taking the time to join in. We're here with the legendary Dennis Yu and the one and only Payman Taye. I'm going to introduce him here in a couple of seconds. But just to kind of introduce myself, my name is Farzad. I'm the director of marketing. We're here at Visme. And we're doing this quick video series with Semrush where we're going to invite one influencer, one expert in a specific field. So we're having Dennis, he's covering social media. And then definitely check out some of the other series that we're going to have in the coming months, where we're going to be basically talking about some useful tips in order to kind of take your business to a whole nother level in different aspects. So I'm going to start off with introducing Payman. Payman is my boss. Payman is the founder and CEO of Visme, the all-in-one visual communication tool. That's basically an all-in-one tool that allows you guys to create very good looking and interactive presentations, infographics, and social media assets in a matter of a few minutes instead of hours with no design background. And it's a free platform. Definitely go and check it out if you guys haven't yet. And of course, we got Dennis Yu on the call. Dennis, last time I talked to him, he said that he has apparently spent $1 billion in ad spend. So this is a very good opportunity. Oh yes, the big B. And Dennis, just to kind of give you guys a quick background, I'm sure if you haven't heard of him already, he's the chief executive officer over at Blitz Metrics. And he's an expert, especially when it comes to social media strategy, specifically Facebook ads. And basically, he's been covered by pretty much any well-known news outlet you can imagine: the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, LA Times, you name it. And Dennis is here to kind of take us through a couple of different great strategy on how you guys would be able to assemble a powerful and practical social media strategy for your own business. And oh, we see folks are saying hello in the comments. Perfect. So definitely take the time to use this opportunity to ask, any questions you guys have, leave it in the comments. Just to kind of give you guys a quick overview of how this webinar is going to be. Dennis is going to be taking over and going through a quick, 15 to 20-minute presentation about how to assemble a powerful social media strategy, which is the title of this webinar. And then Payman is actually going to follow up and kind of take you guys through how you'll be able to create these social media assets in a matter of a few minutes. So once we're done with that, then you guys will be able to ask questions. We're going to have a quick panel discussion and Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, this is a great opportunity to ask them. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this off to Dennis Yu. Dennis, we're all here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, if you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, let us know where you're coming in from, right? You might be at home. I want to see a picture of your kitchen. I want to see what you guys are up to. The whole thing about creating a social strategy is that you have to be social first. So that's what we're doing here, right? A lot of us, we need connection with other people. And just let me know, can you see my screen? Can you type in yes into the comments if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook? Let me know with a yes in the comments if you guys are able to see this. Okay. So a lot of people think that social media and strategy and ROI are counterintuitive, because when we've talked to hundreds of businesses, large and small, about their social media strategy, they say, well, we just have to post 5 times a day on Twitter. We have to make these infographics. We have to respond, because people are complaining and we have questions or whatever it might be. But how do we really drive an ROI? How do we really drive something that makes sense? Because we're trying to keep up with all these different channels, right? The Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And I can't even, maybe I'm a small business. Maybe I'm you do PPC for a living and you're wondering, how do you transition this to social media? This is the answer that you have. So today you're going to create a 3-stage funnel. This is the same 3 stages that Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, even Pinterest uses these same words: awareness, consideration, conversion. 3 stages in the funnel, right? Some people call it tofu, mofu, bofu. We like to call it why, how, and what. It also corresponds to know, like, and trust. And the reason why is that any content that you have should be able to fit into this framework. For example, if Payman is sharing 17 things that you can do while you're stuck at home, That's a how. That's sharing knowledge, right? How do you do something? Or you could see here, I just bought this fancy new Sony DSLR. Can you see this? Do you guys have a DSLR, a fancy camera? I'm like, man, I want to be a professional now, right? Because this thing's got 61 megapixels. It's got a 14-24 Sigma lens on it, but I don't know how to use it. So I'm going to go out there and be learning on YouTube, right? And so that's how. So there's people, the camera manufacturers like Sony has a bunch of how stuff, and that causes me to want to buy more Sony lenses, right? Or the why, it's a story. How do you tell a story about something that happened where, for example, I have a couple Airbnb folks at my house. I have a big house, and they couldn't pay. So I said, you know what, you can stay here for free. So it's a why. Like you tell a story like, oh, I set a rule saying you can't leave the house. We're under quarantine, but it also means you can't work. So I thought, well, let's just, it's either they leave or they stay. So I'll let them stay for free because I don't want them to leave the house. Right? I'm just telling a story that reflects my mission or passion. Or I went to Costco and the toilet paper had run out. And the toilet paper levels is a good indicator of people's fear. I wonder if I could like track that on internet data and use that, to manage stocks, right, as predictions, right? There's lots of different things, that little stories, little things you notice that you then weave into some deeper realization about who you are, and then you share your knowledge, and then you come in and say that, hey, we're a restaurant, we're still open. So my friend Brandon Hurtado, he runs a barbecue in Dallas, and his sales have gone up in the last month, which is strange because most restaurants are shutting down. Why? Because he's putting content out here. He's saying we're open, right? Here, check out this brisket that I'm cooking. This looks really juicy, right? We've been smoking it. Or here's some people that we're catering. Here's some firefighters that we're giving free food to, or whatever it might be, right? He's constantly sharing why, how, and what. Now, if you put why, how, and what into a grid, it can be a video grid. It can be a series of infographics, and could be posts. It can be like whatever kind of content. Now, remember, we've not yet talked about how you're going to distribute this content. This is when you start to get evergreen power, because when you tell a story about something that happened, which is a why is something that you're not trying to sell. A why is just, this is who I am. I have 2 kids and I love them. Or it could be, I go to church on Sunday, or maybe I watch live and this is why Jesus is important to me. Or I love mountain biking and this is my favorite mountain bike, and this is why this is my trail, the trail I like to ride on. Or just anything, like any little story, any little moment from your life, from your customers' lives, from anything, right? I think like Paymon, you guys just got shut down, right? In Maryland. I mean, I don't mean like the company, I mean the whole state, like everyone got shut down, stay at home, right? You can't travel, this kind of thing. Well, what have you realized? What does that mean for you? Right. And then to go into the what on, or not, the how on, what should you do based on
excuse me, Dennis, sorry
Yeah.
if I'm interrupting you. The Semrush folks are telling me that it'd be great if you can go full screen so folks can see this better.
Oh, I'm leaving this full screen in just a minute.
Oh, okay, cool. Now
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Because I'm going to show I just want to get some of the fundamentals out of the way, and then I want to do some fun stuff with you guys.
Awesome.
I don't like presentations. I've given thousands of them, and you guys are probably pros on like Zoom and all this, right? You're having to sit through presentations, or now you're in more meetings. You never thought you'd be in so many meetings, huh? When you're from home. And then the what is when you're selling, right? And that's when you start to put things together and you drive sales. That's where your ROI starts to happen. Okay. So to make this practical, I want to see 3 items from everyone here. Large company, small company, you could say, oh, that's the marketing department. They're supposed to do that. Or there's supposed to be a videographer that does that. Or that's the SEO person who's supposed to do that. No, it's supposed to be you, right? Because then it just drops through the cracks. No one does this. So think about how you could do different pieces of content. And so these are pieces of content that we assemble, like the Facebook for $1 a day checklist. Like this is stuff that we teach. If you're a marketing agency, you could take the templates that Paymon, Farzad, and I have created. You could take these decks and you could shamelessly put your name on them. You could shamelessly use them for your clients. Right? Which is easy to do. Things that you can reuse. That's the beauty of social media. People don't understand. When you have one great piece of content, you can reuse it over and over again. You can cross-post it to all these other channels and then drive them all the way into this yellow here where you're driving a sale. Okay? And then you connect it with all the people that you have. You have lots of content. There's people that are in your network. There's topics that you care about. And then in the middle, that's your brand. That's your personal brand. That's your product. That's your service, whatever it is. So we have why on the outside. We have how in the middle. And you have what in the middle, in the very center, the hub of this thing. Okay. Now, we're going to switch. Can you see Chrome here? I'm in Chrome. Now, it wouldn't
Yes,
be
sir.
fair to be on social media and talk about a social media strategy and not actually do this, okay? So you can see I'm actually live here, and if you want to comment or whatnot, you could see, like here in the Visme group, you can see we're actually live here. I'll refresh this so you can see that I'm not, joking, or this is not a trick. All right, now here is one of the things that we like to teach, for example, the 3x3 grid. And full disclosure, these beautiful graphics were all made by our friends at Visme, and you can do that too inside their free tool, as Paymon's going to show you in a little bit. I'm not a graphics designer. I need someone else to do it, or I need a tool that can put these things together for me, because I don't want to mess around inside the Adobe products. No offense to the Adobe people, but it's just not my thing. But let's say that this is something that I wanted to share, and I could say the most powerful method to share on social is via the 3x3 method, because it builds a relationship. It builds relationships in multiple stages. And I'll say thank you. Do we not have this in here? Did you put this? Let's see. Farzad. And
I'm pretty easy to spot because I think there's only one Farzad in the world.
I think I must have met. Maybe I was in another account. I'm in like 50 different accounts for assembling this. Okay, so now look at this. I'm sharing this, right? And then I can, so that's on Facebook. I can then share it on Twitter. I can then go to LinkedIn and do the same thing. And you could use different tools. You see, a lot of people say, I don't have time for this. Do you know what a 3x3 grid is? Grid is? I don't know, I just do that, right? There. And then people are going to come to this. I can then, did I say LinkedIn, right? Solve your, there's different ways of, with the Evergreen. See what I'm doing? It's not hard. The Evergreen strategy of the 3x3 grid. Okay. And then I just want to engage. So I'll say, have you made one? Okay, see, nice little preview, a little bit of engagement, right? Oh, maybe I'll use a hashtag. Nah, I don't want to use a hashtag. So there, right? Now notice that I'm distinguishing the creation of the content from the posting of the content. And I can go on and post it in all these other channels at the same time. Any piece of content that lives inside that 3x3, I could then post it into all these other channels and then start boosting it for $1 a day. So then let's say that, so I shared this right here on my profile, but I can't boost this, can I? Because it's a profile. But now let's say I've got the Blitz Metrics page, or I've got the Dennis Yu public figure page, not my profile, the page. It's a page called Dennis Yu, just like this company. It's called this, right? So I'll say the most popular and most effective thing I'll say I've used. Oh, am I posting as Blitz, or I can change who I'm posting? Used over the last 10 years is the $1 a day strategy, which is you're boosting posts for $1 a day. Hey, let me know in the comments, have you used $1 a day before? $1 a day is when you take any post and you just boost it for $1 a day, right? There it is. And then I will, why can I not share this? This is me. I'm supposed to be a social media. Oh, you know what? Because I got to go inside the business manager to do this. Okay, let me do this. Here. All right, so let's see here. So there is, here, I'll just do this post here. Okay, here it is, $1 strategy. There's this post, shared now. Okay, there, I posted it. Now let's look at some of these other posts, because I make lots of these posts, right? Yesterday, I was in a facility in Las Vegas preparing for coronavirus, where they're setting up beds and equipment and this kind of thing. because we want to help out. Now, here's a video, right? So it could be something I took on my phone. It could be something that, I told some story. I was at, like I said, Costco, they ran out of toilet paper. And I can come in here and I can boost this post. You see this blue button? A lot of people say, don't boost this post. Don't boost post. It doesn't work. It works very well, right? So I've got lots of ad accounts. You can see here. There's a Blitz ad account. There's lots of these ad accounts. And then I can come in and say, look, $1 a day. So I'm going to do $7 for 7 days. See, the minimum budget needs to be at least $1 a day. This is where the dollar a day strategy came from. It says $1 a day. So I'm going to say 7 days. And let's just say I put 6 for fun. Then it's going to say, oh, you're spending like $1.16 per day, right? So it tells you, it gives you the math, but you need to spend at least $1 per day. And then here's the key that people mess up, the targeting. Okay, you see, under custom audiences, now, you guys don't miss this. And let me know, are you not using custom audiences with your boosted post? I think almost everyone misses this, even the people who are really pro. A custom audience is anyone who's been to your website, anyone in your email list, anyone who's a customer, anyone, phone number, any of this kind of stuff. You upload that to Facebook, you pre-upload that in the audience manager inside the ads manager. And then they show up here. So I can say anyone who's engaged on the Blitz page in the last however many 90 days, or on my public figure page, anyone who's clicked on a particular call to action, anyone who is leads from my friend Vasile, who runs Growth Marketing Conference, anyone who's been to my website in the last 180 days. So I have all these different audiences of people who have done this or done that, right? And then I boosted for $1 a day. And there, I just did it. Okay, now the reason why this boosting is so important is that I can look at any content that I've ever published anywhere, anything in my 3x3, anything in my content library, anything across any channel. It could be a webinar snippet. Like I want to take snippets out of this webinar because I love Payman and Farzad. And I want to take little 30-second snippets out of that and share that. Like here, right? I was in the Middle East a couple months ago. And here I was in Las Vegas. So I'm just sharing little moments of my life, and then I'm boosting these posts. And what's going on is that you can see, like, literally here I was in Las Vegas a couple days ago. Oh, this is, sorry, the Grand Canyon, right? You ever been to the Grand Canyon? Kind of scary, huh? Long way down. So there's just lots of these little moments. Now, if you look at any one of them, you can't really tell what they are necessarily. Like here's my friend Neil Rodriguez. He's in New York, right? He's well known. I'm even doing things like capturing video from a Zoom where people are practicing the why story. Or here's my friend who services restaurants, and one of his pizza clients is giving out toilet paper. And what they're listen.
Interesting story that happened the other day was a customer or a client of ours emailed us, and they wanted to know if they should sell toilet paper in their pizzeria. And obviously, when you think of that, you would never.
So he's not doing that, but he's giving away toilet paper with every delivery, right? Which is kind of nice because people talk about that. Now, this is an example of a why or a how, right? Here's a cool tip for restaurant owners. Then I can boost this post to people who are restaurant owners, and then say, hey, and then from there I can remarket, right? Remarketing, this is the key thing. Remarketing is when people they see one piece of content, they went to your website, they're a customer, you have their email address, right? It's custom audiences, and then I can say, if they see this, then I want to show them 7 things that pizza restaurants can do if they are losing sales. So if you boost a post, then it'll say, hey, now here's how you optimize this boosted post. You kill it, or you switch it, or you add more money to it. Look at this cool visualization. This was made by our friends at Visme. By the way, all these cool graphics are all made by our friends at Visme, and it is a non-technical tool, as you'll see in a minute. Anything that's ugly, you can blame me. Anything that's beautiful, you can say it's Visme. And
so Dennis, sorry if I'm interrupting. And while we're at this, actually, one of our audience is asking, how long do you need to do the $1 a day boosting before seeing some, decent results? Weeks, month? Paid
7 days.
Part, I guess
1 week, right? Not 1 day, because it could be, Saturdays will perform differently than Tuesdays, right? Every post is so 1 week. So 7 days is enough to get a general sense. And let me just show you how that might be. So if I come over here to. And by the way, boosting, you can boost on Twitter, you can boost on LinkedIn, you can boost on Facebook. I just happen to like Facebook because I just think the system's smarter when it comes to this kind of thing. Okay, so let's just say that I'm on I'll show you. Here, let's go look at some of my past posts and let's actually do some analysis. So I'm going to go to Business Manager. You want to have everything living inside your Business Manager, sometimes inside more than one Business Manager if you have an agency. Okay, and now I'm going to look at the different posts. I'm going to show you how to tell whether a boost is working or not. And you guys are like a couple steps ahead of me. So I haven't even showed you how to optimize. That's actually what this is. You know, 90% you're going to kill. So you boost it for 7 days. 90% you're going to kill, because only 10% of the time we have a winner. It doesn't matter. We did it for the Golden State Warriors, for Nike, for the pizza restaurants, for the furniture stores, for the e-com startups, B2B SaaS companies. Same thing. 90% will die. That's just how it is. And you can see that for these posts, some of them will do well. Okay, so here, I boosted this one a couple days ago. 3,400 reach, 726 engagement. I'm looking for a 10% engagement rate. So this is more than 10%. That's not too bad. But I also want to see how many link clicks did I get. I want to see if it's a video. How long do people watch? I want to see the balance of likes, comments, and shares. So I'm boosting from the page. I'm not boosting inside Ads Manager. I'm not boosting inside Pages Manager, because I want to see the organic side. Okay, this is where people miss. If you look at only the ad tools, they show you ad data. I want to see the organic impact. All right, this overall, 4,000 reach, 136. Overall, I didn't get 10%, but on the paid side, I did. I got no negative feedback, which is key. Negative feedback, Facebook told me, I confirmed with them, counts for about a -100 weighting in the newsfeed. So if a like, comment, or shares with 1 point, and or a like's worth 1 point, a comment's worth about 6 points, a share is worth 13, and negative feedback's worth a -100. Okay, so just make sure you want, if you're not getting reach, it's not because Facebook's trying to penalize you to spend money. It's because your negative feedback's too high relative to your positive feedback. Okay, and now I'm looking at other things. So this is my friend Nick Kuzmich. He wrote a book on Facebook ads. He also has a Tesla. I'm jealous, even though I'm going to get the Model X when this whole thing's over. And you can see here, 828 people reached, 344 ThruPlays. You guys know what a ThruPlay is? ThruPlays, they stay for 15 seconds or more. Okay, so this is a 1 minute video. I think it's like 59 seconds. Very good, right? He's giving his best tip. His tip is use black and white in your photos, because that's going to cause people to say, whoa, this is different, because you have to capture their attention as they're scrolling, right? And there I'm sharing this. And because I've boosted this, so remember, most people on social media get no reach. A, they're saying the wrong thing, so it doesn't even matter. It's not structured into that 3x3 to sequence people from why to how to what. And then B, they're not, it's not even being seen. So here I'm boosting this post, and you can see this one I spent a little more. I spent $14 for 14 days. And that got me a cost per ThruPlay of 4 cents. So is it worth it for the audience you're trying to reach to pay 4 cents? And that really, it depends, right? If you're a pizza restaurant versus your enterprise IT security software, your buyer is different, and the buyer's journey is different, and how many times people need to see stuff. So in this case, I think this is pretty good, depending on the audience that I want to hit, which is people that go to social media marketing world, or people that are social media managers, or people that are fans of Nicholas Kuzmich, right? It's easy to do. Now, let me show you how powerful it is when you translate this to, you can take any piece of content and you can translate it to a video, to an article, and to an infographic, okay? That's the beauty of this multiplying system. When you have that 3x3, these stories, you can multiply it to every single channel. Notice, I just posted to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, and then I can post versions of that are infographics, that are articles, that are whatever it is. I can take a podcast episode and turn it to the 12 things that I learned from Farzad, right? Whatever it might be. And full on goal. Okay. So I could say, so I was with Dr. Oz a couple weeks ago, before this whole shutdown happened in New York. And we were talking about coronavirus. And this is this is right before the whole thing started. Me and Brennan, we were taking video, getting interviews. Let's see if I can show. I think I got to go back a little bit further, because this was 3 weeks ago. But I can say 7 things that I learned from Dr. Oz, and then turn it into one of these checklists, turn it into an infographic, turn it into something like this, right? I don't have any graphics design skills at all, but I can certainly listen to a friend who has expertise about whatever it is, write down their top 6 or 7 things like this, put it into a tool, or make a video about it, and then cross-post it to every single one of these networks. Now look, this post that I just had here, you're going to see, let's see, you can see the notifications. I can see notifications here, Chirag Joshi, just like this. All right, now, so social media means you have to be social, right? Remember, we just made this post. They have 38 views, and I can say thank you to Visme for making this. You should check out. You have 4 million users, right?
Yeah, 4.5.
Unbelievable.
But who's counting?
Free. Oh, and see, people love seeing this live because I'm not just telling you what someone else said. I'm practicing. This is stuff that we do over and over and over again. So we're not. This is not like some theory, and it's not. It's not like, you know, something that worked a long time ago, right? We do this every day. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me, oh, this is too hard to do. I don't have enough time. I literally just did it in the same time that we taught the webinar, right? Now I'm gonna make a blog post. It's gonna be later. It's be up later today. Okay. So here I'll just, for our SEMrush friends. Okay. Now think about this. Who are the people that you know that either you've met them, or they're friends of yours, or they're employees of yours, or they're celebrities, or, you know, whoever, people that you know that resonate with a topic that you care about. And the topic that you care about is something related to your product. So if I were to promote Visme, I would think about entrepreneurship, about design, about personal branding, about giving good presentations, about, you know, marketing, about, you know, all these things, you know, small businesses that struggle with marketing tools, right? And I think about who are the people. Your topics are going to be different, right? So think about what your topics are. If you're watching this on replay, pause this and draw your own circles, right? Or use one of the templates that we have. I think we've got some templates with Visme too. And who are the people that are knowledgeable about those particular areas? So I could easily say, hey, if, you know, for digital marketing, Mari Smith, here's 7 tips that she has, right? Billy Jean, here's some things that he has. Turn that into an infographic, or take clips of, so the stuff on the very outside, I'll take clips of me and these people together, you know, pre-coronavirus, just to warm them up and then show their tips. So if I do, here, I'll show you this. You can see here, I've got these videos and these moments that I'm sharing. If someone engages with a video of me and Grant Cardone, then I'm going to show them a video of Grant Cardone and I and what we've been talking about. Or I'm going to show them, why is this thing not loading properly? I think this is my internet. See, I'm going from the outside of my topic wheel, connecting with other people. So I interview other people. If I don't know what to say, I just interview them. I make an infographic out of it, or some kind of cool design thing just to get their attention, because people need visual content. Hopefully I don't need to make the case why visual content is so important. So video, the infographics, maybe I need to make a presentation, all right, whatever it might be. And then they come to my website and they can read a blog post about it. And then they can come all the way and buy. And this is that buyer's journey of why, how, and what. So let's just say, for example, I'll show you one last example. Let's say, see, Google knows that I've searched this thing before. Let's globally at GoDaddy, right? You guys know GoDaddy. And this is live in front of however big their page is. And they have whatever 3 or 4 million customers on this. Is not the one I want. That's her public figure page. Let's see. Is it this one? This one. Okay. Yeah, this is on their live GoDaddy. This is on the GoDaddy Facebook page. And we're going live.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
See, GoDaddy was live. Now, this is 3 years ago. So here we are. We're doing this thing, and we're talking about stuff here like this, right?
For this image goes to Isaac, because Isaac put the deck together for me. But I love this.
And here we're just giving tips, right? Here's 7 things you should stop doing. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. See, now I'm holding up these things as we're going through them. And then every one of these things I can turn into an article. See, I'm even holding up these different guides. Okay, now look at all this.
Thing that sells the most for you. If you're an agency or consultant, look at all your clients and pull out one of them so that they're a lighthouse client. The lighthouse client is the one.
So this is by GoDaddy. Okay, now this is on the outside of the topic wheel. I can make lots. Now, how many pieces? No, so Paymon, how many pieces of content do you think I can make out of this 1 and 3 minute video?
I would say, well, it's an hour something. I think every 5-10 minutes could be a subject, right? So that could be easily one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, look, I'm holding up an infographic here, right? Here's things you should do and not do.
Shift the culture here.
That's one right there.
Yeah. Okay. And then we could do a video. Okay. So this is, we're talking about all kinds of things here, right? I think making videos together with other people on Zoom is a great way to collect lots of pieces of content. I can chop this up into like what kinds of pieces of content can I chop this? Like Far's Auto Payment, what kinds of content could I chop this into?
That could be a listicle, so that could be one. That could even be like a pro and con, so that could be an infographic. It could be a one-pager, like a checklist. It could just be a simple social graphic, simplified, of course.
Yeah.
If you can make it into, let's say, a small process, 1, 2, 3, 4, that could be one itself. So it could be multiple, yeah.
Yeah, so I can then chop this up. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely, you can make a GIF, so it's a little more animated, a little more interactive.
Yeah.
For the key points, yeah.
Just like you see here, right? You can make these things, like this one's, right? Or this one here is more animated, right? You saw this, it's kind of cool. And you can make it like this. You can make it in different formats. You can make your little 15-second reactions to it. You could have employees on your team use it and say what they think about how they like Heather Dobson. There's so many different versions you can make. So let's say that's 20 pieces of content that you could easily have made. Then you post that across all these different channels. So you saw I just posted something at the start here that's on here on Facebook. Okay, somebody commented on my link. Okay, let's see here. This is the one. This is the one we just had. I'm Bonnie David watching live. Oh, by the way, all these people. So thank you, Bonnie. Right now, these people are starting to engage, and then they're going to make content too. Right? I could pull up my phone. I could reply here with content. I can have my social media manager do this. And now we're creating more content on top of content. And because I've tagged these other people, right, they're going to notice this as well. So now I've taken this content. I've made 20 versions of it. I've posted across all the networks. So let's call that like 100 posts. Not every piece of long form content needs to result in 100 posts, but it could. And then for any one of these, I can boost it for $1 a day. Now this is one, like being on CNN and all this. This is important. So I put $1 a day against it. Then it was so good, I put another $1 a day for 30 days, and then I put $1,000 for another year. And you can see I boosted this December in 2018, right? 66,000 people reached, 21,000, video views. And this is just one of many posts that we have. But the ones that seem to do well are the ones that I'm going to keep putting money on, because who knows, like this infographic one, this you never know. Like, can you tell what a winner is? I used to think, this is after spending $1 billion at the B. I used to think I knew what a winner was, but I couldn't. So I just put lots of things out there, and it's always the one that you thought, no, it's not going to be that one. That ends up being one of your greatest hits, right? And we're all data people. Never fool yourself into thinking that you know better, okay? So that's what I have to share with you. Get your topic wheel, lots of pieces of content. Understand the topic wheels, why, how, and what, right? All of you can say who it is. I help X achieve Y through Z. You can tell different stories. You can post it across all these other places. I like to put stuff on my phone. I like to chop stuff into lots of pieces, turn them into articles, stick them in my 3x3 so it's evergreen, build the topic wheel, and then have other people take over from there, right? The beauty is, so if you want on a powerful social media strategy, collect lots of content, especially long form video, chop it up into pieces that fit inside this topic wheel. You need a tool like Visme, if you don't have an internal in-house design team, to chop it up into little pieces, because that's what people want to consume on social media. And then you can drive people all the way to a sale. Use $1 a day to boost content, to bring people from the outside to the middle to the inside, right? You're sequencing from why to how to what. That's what you need to do, and be there across these different channels. Look, if I'm on Twitter or on Facebook, these people are, okay, I connected you. Okay, so I'll say, thank you, Janine, right? There's my buddy Anton, right? We'll say, Anton, we love you, right? I can come here to Twitter. I can look at people that are here. This is an example, right? Look, how Isaac Irvine got 70 million views on his Facebook video with a step-by-step guide. Guess what? That's just a simple interview. I interviewed him. We took the video just like you saw before, made infographic out of it, posted other articles on it. Here, I wrote an article on it, right? I think I wrote this article. Yeah, here it is. I wrote this article, right? So I'm making 50 pieces of content off of one piece of content. I don't even need any. It doesn't, very hard. It's not hard to do. You see this? Look at all these people here. Then other people are taking our infographics. This is the last thing I'll say. Other people are taking our infographics and sharing. It's like, wow, this is really cool. And that's where this is coming from. See, 10 questions with Dennis Yu via this person. Okay, that's cool. I'll probably share that, right? See that? That's what you're doing. That's how you're making social media powerful. You're not getting caught in the community management thing. You're actively creating content with the structure of this topic wheel. So you can share little stories, sequence to sharing knowledge, which is the how, and then all the way to the what, which is the product. That's when you can sell, but you're remarketing all the way down to be able to sell. So there you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Dennis. We're getting flooded by questions from the audience. So definitely, guys, hang tight. We're going to have a quick little panel discussion that we're going to go through all the questions you guys are asking. So please stick with us. We're going to cover every single one, as many as we can. But I want to go ahead and thank you so much, Dennis, again, for the valuable info. And so just to wrap things up, boost your posts, $1 a day, remove the ones that are not working, which is probably about 90% of the time, and double down the ones that are. And that's how you'll be able to, use that little power of compounding to kind of get to the power social. And now I'm going to go ahead and actually hand this off to Paymon. So Paymon, Dennis actually talked about more on the strategy side of social. Now, a lot of folks might be wondering, okay, how can I actually, once I create a piece of content, how can I chop it into social media posts? Lots of folks, including myself, don't have any sort of design experience or can't make stuff look pretty. So how can we actually, turn these turn this information and turn it into something that's snackable, as visually appealing, so we can post it on social?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Alrighty, good. So let's see here, and is my screen showing as well?
It is now. Yes.
It is now. Okay. All right. So we're talking about snackable. We got a lot of snacks here, right? That's what a tool such as ours, and again, there's others out there as well, it allows you to do, is to kind of take some of the great information that Dennis just shared, and you just make them into little bits and pieces, because people are in a rush these days, right? So they want to be able to get and consume information in a kind of a quick manner, and a lot of times they're just skimming through content, and so that's where visual interactivity comes into play. Videos, of course, in a matter of a minute you could get someone's attention, versus having to write a long book that people have to read about. I think that comes a little further down the road when you have them further engaged. So anyway, I'm not going to take much time. What I'm going to do is, and I know that one of the questions that came out that I could answer right now was about how is Visme different than Canva. Canva is a design tool, great for social graphics. Visme also is similar, but it has some differentiators. So you're going to be able to see that in just a few minutes. In Visme, I'm going to jump through. You can basically create all forms of content. In this case, we're talking about social, so that's what I'm going to focus on. But our tool allows you to import PowerPoint, create pretty engaging presentations. So all the stuff that you see is basically very similar to what Dennis was just talking about. A lot of this is content that we write in our blog, and we've taken them into snackable little pieces, and we share them online on social media. Sometimes they become little books. So we've created like a presentation ebook, and then it's been, I don't even know how many different pieces of content that it's been accumulated into over the last year and a half. And so you don't have to be a designer to do that. So what you do is you basically just create a new account and then click create. You end up in a place like here. And so just kind of walking my way through. We give you all the templates. So let's say you want to create a presentation, not for social graphics, but our tool allows you to create pretty impactful, fully engaging presentations. Infographics we talked about. So here's an example, right? So maybe, us, for example, because of the trends coming on with remote working and COVID-19, we decided to create a little infographic that's been shared on social media about COVID-19. And you see how there's little blocks here? Like this is actually a separate social post that we're going to be sharing. And this component, the morphology, that actually is going to be its own separate thing. So even though there's a very tall infographic that puts all of it together, we're able to take this information and put it into different snackable formats. It could even be as simple as a chart. So this is actually from one of our users, came across just a few days ago, who is constantly actually updating this. And this is live data that I believe has shared in. And so it's coming in from social media and is able to see the
sorry, Paymon, we lost you for a second. I apologize, guys. There might be a little bit of a lag. No, we can't hear you. You might want to actually refresh your screen, Paymon. I think that would. Yep. Alrighty.
I'm back in. Okay. All right.
Yes,
that
you
was
are
weird.
back in.
Okay,
Perfect.
we're back now.
Yep.
All right. Let me go back to where I was. So let's see here. We got this back. Is my internet back? Can you hear me? Okay?
Right. Sorry, guys. Paymon's actually got cut off again. I'm assuming there's a problem with the Wi-Fi. All right,
Yeah,
Paymon, you're back again. I know.
I'm back
We're
again.
actually in different rooms because we're practicing social distancing. So we're
social distance. Yeah, we're keeping
right.
separate. Is it okay now? We're good?
Yes, it's all
Okay.
good. Yeah, let's go to share screen again.
All right, good. So let's just jump into that. What I was saying was, there's people that are creating data. So they're creating little charts and sharing that the trend right now is about COVID-19, everything about it. This is Ireland. So there's, that. Or what you can come down is create a content in Visme, and let's say it's going to be a social graphic. So again, jumping through infographics, documents, printables, all sorts of that. So web, and in this case, we're going to talk about social graphics, and that's what I want to focus on. In fact, the timing is great because in 24 hours, we're going to be launching our interactive animated Instagram posts, social graphics for media, for Facebook, and so on. So let's talk about that. In just about 24 hours, you'll be able to go in and just search for animated and be able to get results, okay, for the animated tools that we have, and you'll be able to.
All right, guys. Sorry. Apparently, there's an issue with Paymon's internet connection. So in the meantime, I think Paymon, it's best maybe connect to another Wi-Fi in the office.
Let me do this. Why don't I switch rooms with you? Why don't I come in at your station and do that if this is giving me trouble, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
All right, let me come and do that, and you can hop on here and do that. All right.
All right, perfect. In the meantime, I want to ask Dennis a question. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, well, Paymon and I are switching stations. Dennis, I wanted to ask you, one of the audience is actually asking whether you have any Twitter tips for the B2B company to increase engagement. That's a lot of B2B companies that are having issues with Twitter, not getting a whole lot of engagement. Would you be able to answer that while I switch? Rooms with Paymon. All right.
I have a lot to say about this, so don't get me started. So when you see tweets from B2B companies, what do you typically see?
Normally either a blog post or some update, company update.
Okay, and social media is about social. So how often do you see a human on Twitter actually giving a human response,
not very often.
like a human video, or not something that's like a testimonial, but like actually, a day in the life of, a behind the scenes of this is what one of our product managers is working on, or this is how, just telling stories. The lack of humanity is why you're not getting engagement. It's not because of Twitter, trying to hold you back. That said, if you assemble the topic wheel, right? In B2B, you have more stages because it goes to Salesforce and you have, sales qualified all the way down, but you still are using the same topic wheel. You can use Twitter to boost. My favorite thing is you tag other people and you can then boost that to a set of Twitter handles. You can still boost it to a custom audience. Twitter is one of the best manipulation tools for media, for tech, for politics, for B2B, because you can really narrow in on a couple people and just bombard them. And if you want to send me a URL of a blog post you have that's evergreen, not PR, not news, but is evergreen, I'll put it out there and you'll see. Twitter is great for attention, but not bringing people to your site. But short little videos work great too. Twitter, you can boost to drive video views. Your video views will be like a penny or two if you do a good job per view. It's fantastic. $1-a-day strategy, same thing, self-serve. Not managed services. Don't use Twitter for managed services unless you just have money to blow.
All right. So I've taken over on station from Farzad, and Farzad switched there on the other side, right? You there? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I'm right here.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's try this again. Let me go ahead and share my screen and see why my Wi-Fi was acting funny. Hopefully this won't happen because I'm on your screen now. So let's see here.
Perfect.
Are we good now? Okay. All right. So where I left off was, hey, in Visme, you can create all sorts of content. In this case, we're going to talk about social graphics. And we're going to be, in just the next 24 hours, launching our social graphic animated graphics, so that even though, yes, you can do pretty static posts in Visme, very soon you'll be able to do animated posts. So maybe that's Instagram, or maybe that's going to be something for, let's say, Twitter. If I want to do Twitter posts, if I want to do, let's say, Twitter ads. So we have all those different ads and come in different formats. So you see our rollover, it's ready to go. So this is to kind of create quick, engaging content in Visme for your social media. So let's say what I wanted to do was something like this one, okay? And I click that, and what it's going to do is it's going to open it up for me. So it's ready to go. It's already animated. So just to kind of let's talk about an example, right? So I've got a workshop in this case. and I want to say, free, try it free, for example. And then from there, I can adjust it as needed. So again, let's just talk about try it free. And everything is adjustable there. So I can do that. And of course, I can size the buttons and so on as I need to. If I need to maybe adjust the color scheme a little bit, because again, sometimes you want things to be on your brand. So I can just click that and just adjust the color scheme. Maybe that's not the graphic that I want. On the left panel, I'm going to go to graphics. So yes, we have all sorts of little icons and static things that you can put in right from different places. But what we've got what's called animated graphics. I'm going to make this really cool and exciting. So in this case, talking about social media, let's go to social media area. And what I want to do is I've got all these different graphics. I drag and drop this thing here, all right? And so that gives me a pretty animated, ready to go component here. Or what I can do is I can just switch it to, let's say, more of an isometric format. Hey, this looks pretty cool. So I'm going to put this in. It's all about engagement, just getting people's attention. But what's the other thing that helps to get people's attention? It could be video. So what I can do is go to media and I can drop in videos right into my social media if I need to. I can drop this like right behind the scenes. So there's all these different videos and so on you can do. In Visme, you can go under apps. You can actually embed videos from YouTube, Vimeo, Wistia, and all those other ones. And we've got more coming in. Or you can just drag and drop your own GIF or your video if you want to. But what I want to do is I want to get a little bit more exciting. Real quickly, take another minute. Let's bring in a character here. So this is pretty neat. If I want to go a little bit out of the spectrum, I'm going to go to these mascots. I'm going to drop one of these cool little fellas here. Okay, so I'm going to drop it, and look, it's already animated. It's ready to go. Drop this fella here, and let's give him a pose. Let's make him, kind of, it's remote work. So maybe I want to talk about remote work. All right, social marketing. So remote work, and I can kind of adjust that if needed. Remote work marketing. That sounds pretty cool, right? I can tell this dude to say, hey, I want this setting. I want to repeat this kind of a few times, right? So I could adjust that and tell him to do that a few times. Or if you want to be a little bit more less, risky, and you're like, hey, that looks pretty cartoonish to me. I'm a little bit big company professional. I want to go a little bit more like get a human being on there. So yeah, let me go ahead and drop this fella here. So let's go ahead and get him. I'm going to leave this on. You probably don't want to have two characters. I just want to show you what you can do. So I'm going to put this guy here, take another 10 seconds. I want to repeat something 3 times. And look, let's make him a little bit bigger. You see the skin tone? It's about customization. Maybe I want him to, let's say, repeat it 3 times. Skin tone, I want it to be tan, or maybe I want it to be dark. So you have full control. Maybe let's have some fun. The guy's from Avatar, man. So settings, there it is, poses, and I want this guy to be super happy because look, he's gonna be working remote, he's gonna have to go to the office, blah, blah, blah. So once I'm done, what I'm gonna do is, what can I do? I can either share this on social media. Now, do you remember the way that Dennis was sharing? He basically, gave it a name, okay? So there was, I guess, social remote, and I can just basically generate the link. And I can send this link in social. And the other way is I can actually directly post on social media. So you see what I'm doing right there? This thing is fully animated, ready to go. It's pretty cool, huh? And if I took people to this page, the next step was about the 3 steps that Dennis talked about. And if you wanted to actually start converting them, if assuming that's the case, you could literally click this option, and then you can link it to wherever you want it to go to. Hey, I wanted to sign up free, and I want them to maybe go to, Visme website, a Blizzmetrics, and so on. And so I can do that. So when they come in, they could literally click and go to that link. Or I want to post this directly to my social media as a GIF or video. So I go to download. And then, of course, we're not talking about static stuff here. If this was just an image I wanted, if you wanted to do static stuff, sure. JPEG, download, and post it on social. Or in this case, I'm going to go to video, and I'll be able to go in and actually download that as a video file. So then what that's going to do is going to give me a video file of it, and it's going to look just like this thing, and I can put it on my social media. Same thing with GIFs, little short animations. So that gives you a little bit of a spectrum. And again, what I'm doing here is a little more of a graphical scheme. You could go in, and again, like I talked about, get a little bit more into processes and steps. So maybe what I wanted to do, last but not least, go to basics. Even though we have a lot of templates for that, what I could do is start visualizing stats and figures. I'm going to drag this thing here because I want to talk about different steps or different processes, and I can go and maybe bring this here and talk about different aspects of social media marketing, and I can bring these elements in and start visualizing little stats and figures just like that. And all these are customizable, so I can make this as big and as small as I want to be. And you don't have to be a designer or a coder. You see, I double click it, I change the value to what I want it to be. change the colors? Do I want stats or not? So you could explain those figures. And again, I want to change the colors. Yes, you can one by one change the colors by clicking and going to the color scheme. Or remember what I did earlier? I just come in and change the entire color scheme into another set. So that's how you can create pretty visually engaging content in Visme.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Pema. Just to kind of double check, can you guys hear me okay? And am I clear in terms of my voice and stuff? Can you guys hear me? Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Payman. I really appreciate the tutorial. So definitely, guys, go ahead and check it out. Visme is free forever, the basic plan, so you guys can play around with it. Create, social media content. You don't have to hire expensive designer or do any sort of, courses to try to figure things out. You can just go ahead and start from a template, punch in the info and let Visme take care of the design for you. But guys, I know we're kind of going over time here. We have a ton of questions that I'd like to kind of share with you guys, especially from Dennis. A lot of folks are excited that you're here. So Dennis, just to kind of start off, Heidi is asking, what's your asset creation strategy when designing assets, knowing that you're going to boost your post for $1 a day when Facebook says, as a rule, that you can only have 20% or less of the graphic to be text? So what do you recommend in terms of creating assets in a way?
Well, Heidi, the best thing is start with video, because they're not going to use 20% text on video, and you can choose the thumbnail that you want.
Smart.
And animation is always going to do a lot better. You see, inside the Ads Manager, Facebook actually has video creation tools because they know it's so important. They create, for example, these collections or collages, all sorts of different ways. Now, think about how you can make it more visually appealing instead of just trying to get around the 20% text rule. You still can run ads if it violates 20% text, but then your CPMs are going to be triple or quadruple. Another thing is that they actually have a tool, as you know, that puts the grid lines down where you can see if it violates 20%. And think about ways that you can have your text be like written by hand, or in such a way that it's the reflection in the mirror of like the store sign, or other ways it's not going to count on the 20% text rule. There's other ways to get text in there that won't look like text that the machine's going to read. And then, of course, you can use the text and put it on the side, or there's other ways, because the main thing is they don't want you to create these loud banner ads, right? The banner ads are what are going to get you in trouble. If you do create an infographic, by the way, that is like the 7 ways on whatever, and it's these meme kinds of things, it's okay to violate the 20% text rule, because not everything you have you're going to run ads against. But the ones you do run ads, yes, I would be careful about the 20% text rule. When you shift more to video, it won't be an issue.
Awesome. Thank you. And while we're talking about video ads, as San Francisco Digital Studios is asking for a video view, how do you look at the ThruPlays? I actually was wondering about that myself. And what would be the optimal percentage that you're shooting for?
Yep. Okay. So, question for everyone here. Let me know, what do you think the average watch time is on Facebook for video? How many seconds does the here in the comments? Because this is going to set your expectations on what's possible. Okay. Right. The answer is 6. Yeah, Bonnie, of course, is here. She knows it. The answer is 6 seconds. Why is that? It's because people, they're scrolling on Facebook. 90% of the traffic is mobile. And the average person scrolling with their fingers, just on Facebook, not including Instagram, is 100 meters per day. Okay. And they're moving, I forgot what it is. What is it, like 4 inches per second, something like that? And if they're moving that, and they're scrolling 17, Facebook told me, 17% faster on mobile than they are on desktop. So given that they're moving so fast, the odds of them stopping to watch your video for 3 seconds, which is what counts as a view, is low. What percent? Well, I'll just tell you, 1/3 of people, when they scroll past, will stop for 3 seconds. And those that do might be old people where they accidentally they accidentally clicked or something like that. And then of those that go from a 3-second view to a 15-second through play is also 1/3. So you basically lose 90% of your traffic from those people who are scrolling all the way to someone who's staying for 15 seconds, right? So if you have 100 people, this is on average, we don't want to do average. If you have 100 people that see your thing as they're scrolling, only 10 will stay for 15 seconds for your video. But if you do it right, in the way we're talking about, telling stories, not opening with with a bumper. Never open with a bumper with the company name and lower thirds and things like that with the title. Never. Always open with a hook to get their attention. Then you should be able to get half of those people to stop and watch for 3 seconds. And then if you have a compelling story and they listen to the sound, or you can tell the story sound off, then half of those people should stay for 15 seconds. So if you do it right, of 100 people coming through the newsfeed, 25 should get to a 15-second through play as opposed to only 10%. Okay, you should be able to do 2.5 times better. We've tested this thousands of times. Now imagine what happens if you're getting you're getting 2.5 times more people than average on Facebook to stay for 15 seconds. Your cost per view goes down. Your remarketing is better. Your conversion rate's better. Your remarketing pools are bigger. Like everything's going to be better. Okay.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Thank you, Dennis. And Jason Hunt is asking, are you typically boosting content towards warm custom audiences or cold? So you're reaching out to new groups of people every time you boost those, or there are people that you've already had interactions with in the past?
Yeah. So Jason, at the top of the funnel, remember we talked about why, how, and what? So at the top of the funnel, you're going to boost against cold audiences, meaning if you're nationwide, do like a 1% or 3% lookalike. Or if you are a regional business, like you're a dentist, orthodontist, someone who's serving just a particular city, you're probably going to boost the entire city. I know that's different than what we've talked about the last 12 years, but things have changed on Facebook ads because of, Power 5 account simplification, CBO. So you're going to boost the entire region. Okay. And that's your cold audience. And then if people, they engage with your post, they watch for 15 seconds, they come to the website, any kind of engagement, you're going to remarket into the how. So the why is a story. You can get these stories for 2 cents, 3 cents. It's very easy to do, low cost, right? The higher up in the funnel, the cheaper it is. Facebook just rewards you that way based on objective. Don't choose message. Don't choose call to action at the top of the funnel. Do it on a public figure page. Then drive into a how where you're sharing tips. That's when, like Payman was showing you, even though it says Farzad under his name, was showing you like the infographics, showing you the things you can work from home, or showing you these cool kinds of reports. Now you've earned the right to their attention. If you try to hit a cold audience with a payload that requires a couple minutes of someone's time, you're going to get negative feedback. Facebook's going to penalize you. The cost of your traffic goes up. But you've hit them with a warm audience. Now your cost of traffic is maybe a half to a third. So it's worth it to invest in building that initial warm touch, ideally through video, then to the how, and then you remarket from the how to the what. The what is where you sell. So the XYZ method is I help X achieve Y through Z, right? I help small business owners drive leads by doing social media marketing, right? We help people create beautiful presentations without the headache of, having graphics designers and, whatever it is, like you help X achieve Y through Z, or you talk about your product, or you say, buy this thing here, or I have this item for sale, or hire me for some services. This is my phone number, whatever it is that you do to sell. But you never want to go, this is the biggest problem in social media marketing. Listen, it's using a cold audience, it's driving a cold audience straight to selling. And I can't tell you how many accounts I've looked at on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, where they try to drive a cold audience straight to a sale. You need to, and from a how to the what, your CPAs will be normal. See, I see people where, I kid you not, I've seen their CPMs, their average CPMs up in the $50 to $60 range when they're using cold audiences trying to drive to a sale. And then they say, oh, Facebook doesn't work. No, dude, it's you.
No, that's a very smart strategy. Exactly. And that was something that I was actually talking to Payman a while back, that we want to, once we were tapping into a new audience, let's say if it was someone who's interested, let's say in infographics, generally, they've never heard of it before. Then want to, let's say, pitch them with a blog post or something very invasive. It's something that's not, very salesy in a way, and then basically start a retargeting campaign for folks who've come to our website, visit our blog, and then pitch them to, hey, go now create an account on Visme, right? It's free.
Oh yeah.
And then for folks that are on a free account, it's like basically go upgrade your account, do this and that.
Hey, number one most actionable tip for everybody here. Look, any content that's performed well for you on your blog, anything that's helpful, anything where you're not trying to sell, but it reveals knowledge, then turn that into an infographic, right? You can always find a visual way to represent. This is what we call getting more out of your greatest hits. We call that amplification. Something that has worked for you, you're going to amplify by creating some sort of visual asset related to it. That's why using Visme in combination with the different social channels and ads is like the perfect storm, the triple play. 2 is put remarketing on it. If there's a web page that's working well for you, or a lead form, or some asset that's working well for you, the idea of remarketing is if they're there, then you want to hit them across every single channel, just like the ads that follow you around all over the place, right? You can do the Twitter and LinkedIn and Google and Facebook remarketing all at once. It's very easy to do. You just need to spend $1 a day through those ad channels. Use Google Tag Manager to be able to put all those pixels in one place. It sounds difficult to do, but you could have someone else do it, or you can go through our step-by-step checklist. Learn how to do that, and that's how you're going to get ROI on your content, because it's visually appealing. Because social media, it has to, you have to capture their attention, goldfish attention span, oh, look, squirrel. And then 2, you've got to remarket, and that's how you harvest the leads out of it. That's how you drive sales. That's how you get the initial visibility to then be able to remarket. If you do that, then you're going to say, this Semrush Visme workshop that we have here that was time well spent. Thank goodness I was cooped up inside and I heard what Farzad and Payman had to say. I want to see you guys succeed in social, not just to go to another webinar. I want you to take direct action. If this is not the most practical thing that you have heard, what we're teaching here, I want to know, right? If anyone didn't get value, I want to know.
All right, that's kind of scary. I'm gonna keep an eye out for the live comments here. But Dennis, we've actually hit the 1 hour mark here, and before the Semrush folks are gonna come yell at me, sorry guys. We just have one last question, and I know there's a ton of questions that went unanswered. So I'm gonna ask Dennis and Payman both share the contact info to hit you guys up directly. But one last question that we're going to cover live on the webinar is that actually the San Francisco Digital Studio is asking how to keep track of all these $1 a day ad sets. How do you keep posting? Are you keep posting it from your mobile, or you set up the ads in the ad manager? Do you have a spreadsheet? Do you use a specific tool to keep track?
Yeah. Okay. So how do you track all this stuff? If you guys want, I'll actually show you the content library where we track it all in a series. We use this fancy technology. It's called Google Sheets. That's where we literally have several thousand assets. Anything that we've ever posted, all the derivative kind of content. But if you're not at that stage, because some people say, oh my goodness, they just like choke when they see how much content we have. If you've not done that, you know what? Just off your phone. Make little videos. Share content that you have from other people. It's totally okay to curate. So look at the stuff that Payman, for example, has been sharing across LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. It's totally okay to share someone else's stuff. Like Bonnie David, who's here, she likes taking my content and creating her own video variations and then tagging me so I notice it. Now I've shared her content. That's called Inception. So the easiest thing to do, actually, here's a question for you. You know what the best piece of content is? It's the one you actually make. What's the best video? People ask me, is it this format or that format? Should it be portrait? Should it be an Instagram story? And I'll say, okay. We can go on and on about what exactly is like the best video or the best social media post. But let me ask you first, how many posts have you made in the last 30 days that were videos? None. Okay, well, the best video is the one you make. So if you have lots and lots of content and you have this like coordination kind of issue, then great. But I've looked at so many accounts, the issue is that they're not posting anything. So just post some stuff. Overcome your fear of looking in the camera. My hair is not even very good. Whatever. And then take those winners. If you have someone, if your marketing team is more than one person, then have one person there be your content curator, community manager, and they're using, Visme or whatever their favorite tool is, or maybe they go to Fiverr and have lots of different pieces created and amplifying, and they do analysis, they run ads against it. Then someone else can do the mechanical day to day. But the odds are, if you're watching this and you're with Semrush, then the burden's on you to create the content. So make sure the content's created first. Everything else will take care of itself.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Dennis. Lots of golden nuggets there,
Great
and
stuff.
we really appreciate you coming on and basically taking the time to join us today. So one last thing I want to leave you guys with: what's the best way, Dennis and Payman, to get him? And I know you have my name underneath it, but what's the best way to get in front of you guys and ask questions? Let's say if I have any questions about social media strategy that we didn't get to cover live, Dennis, what would be the channel or email or whatever way that you prefer people reach out to you?
Yep. Guys, hit me up on LinkedIn, not on Facebook. So on LinkedIn, you could look for me, and you could also email me. Best way to email, I always check all emails. I look at all of them. It's operations@blitzmetrics.com. And if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to ask questions. I always go back and monitor.
Awesome. Thank you, Dennis. And what about you, Payman? In case someone has any questions about Visme or any sort of design-related questions, how they get in touch with you or the team.
Given the current situation, you can come and meet me in person. The address is 9. You can look me up on LinkedIn. So yeah, that would be the best way. LinkedIn, just type my name, first name, last name. I promise you there's another person with the same name. And it's not Farzad Rashidi, it's the other one. Yeah, it's Payman right now, right? Because we're switched stations right now. That would be the best way to reach me. And happy to connect. It might take me a few days to get back to you because I get so many messages, but I will reply.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time. And thank you so much, Semrush, for giving us the opportunity to host this webinar today. Lots of information we went through, and the replay, I just got notified by the Semrush that will be available right after the webinar ends. And definitely, guys, get in touch with us in case you would like to get in touch with me directly. You can also look me up on LinkedIn. There's only like one Farzad Rashidi in the world, I think. So you'll be easy to spot. And thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to stick with us all the way to the end, and excuse all the technical issues we experienced. And thank you so much again, Dennis and Payman, for taking the time. And hope you all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.